must be pooing their pants. Let's begin. Now, of course, we're all into election 2024, aren't we? Where, unfortunately, it looks like by July the 4th, Keir Starmer's victory, as he'd like to see it, is all but certain. However, that's not the real reason why the Tories are going to be pooping their pants, is it? Obviously, as we all know, Nigel Farage has now become the leader of the Reform Party and is going to be standing, which is about time, I think. And yes, I'm really glad he decided to change his mind, because I don't know about you, but I did also feel that he was letting people down a bit when he decided not to stand originally. But now there's even better news, because according to this, the Farage boost could help Reform win, wait for it, 4 seats in a general election surge. But hang on a minute, how come? It just seems strange, doesn't it, that from what I've heard, Reform are 2 points behind the Conservatives, who, let's face it, admittedly aren't exactly going to do too well this time, but they're still going to win 50 or even 60 seats at the very bare minimum. But yet the Reform Party is going to win about 4. It just seems absolutely crazy. And of course, that is down to our two-party system, isn't it? Or first past the post system, should I say. But the survey conducted on Monday and Tuesday before the head-to-head TV debate puts Labour on 40%, the Tories on 19%, and Reform UK on 17%. The Liberal Democrats, who, let's face it, after their plan, if I remember rightly, under Joe Swinson or whatever her name was, to completely disregard Brexit, they can't really be called either Liberal or Democratic, could they? But anyway, the Greens are on 7%, and most of this poll was actually carried out before Nigel Farage's bombshell announcement that, of course, he'd be standing. So if you think about it, they could actually be either even with the Tories or actually overtook them. It would just have to wait until the next YouGov poll comes out. Although this poll was carried out by Sky News and will send shivers, apparently it says here, down the spines of some Conservatives who fear losing voters on the right of the party to Reform UK, especially, of course, Nigel Farage is at the helm of it, because let's face it, remember they've lost Lee Anderson. They've still got Jacob Rees-Mogg and Suella Braverman, but just for how long? I mean, admittedly, I can't see Jacob Rees-Mogg jumping ship because he is Conservative through and through, but what about Suella? She might jump ship. Because let's face it, if I remember rightly, one of the reasons why she actually endorsed Rishi was because, from what I heard, he was going to keep her in her position, which obviously she was kept. And that is, of course, until he, let's just say, wanted her out, eh? YouGov's previous poll, though, had predicted that Reform would get absolutely nothing. Zip, zilch, nada. No seats at all on July the 4th. And of course, that seems to have changed. So if that has changed, then it just makes me wonder how many more seats they will actually get than just 4. Hopefully that'll be a sizable amount, maybe 10 or 20, although I've got a feeling it might not actually be that many, it seems. Even says here, though, that its Director of Political Analysis says Farage's dramatic comeback changes the dynamics altogether and predicts the party could now win up to 4 seats, as I was saying. Even the bookies have cut their odds on the amount of seats that Reform can get, as far as I'm aware. Patrick English predicts that Clacton, where Mr Farage is running, and Boston and Skegness, where Richard Tice, the former party leader, is standing, could all turn teal, which obviously would mean we'd finally have Nigel Farage in the House of Commons, which I don't know about you, but I'm guessing Rishi and Keir Starmer might not like very much at all, eh? Mr English also said that Ashfield in Nottinghamshire would be a constituency to watch because Lee Anderson is seeking to defend his seat after defecting to Reform from the Tories. And the pollster also suggests, according to this, that Reform might also find success in South Yorkshire seats and Barnsley and, of course, Doncaster, where it could attract support from previous UKIP and Brexit voters. I myself am voting for Reform. But the good news is that it's not just YouGov and Sky, I'm assuming, predicting a Reform UK surge. On Tuesday, pollster Clinton's MRP project, I hope I pronounced that right, unfortunately do predict a record-breaking majority for Labour, but they also project that Reform could secure 3 seats at least. Survation's model estimates that Reform has its greatest chances in Gainsborough and the northwest Norfolk, where there's 1 in 4 chance of success. So all these different pollsters are predicting different areas. So surely at least some of them are right, eh? It also estimates that Reform UK has a 1 in 5 chance of winning Clacton, although a separate poll from the party had put it at a comfortable first place if Mr Farage stood there, which of course he is, isn't he? Even though of course he did get that milkshake chucked over him, didn't he? The Essex Seaside constituency apparently was the only one to elect a UKIP MP Douglas Carswell after he defected from the Tories in 2014. And Mr Farage will hope to unseat the incumbent Conservative Giles Waiting, who has served as an MP for the area since 2017. And let's face it, because the Conservatives aren't really doing that well at all at the moment, are they? That looks like more than a certainty in my eyes. And the reason for that, of course, is Reform does seem to be the new Conservative Party, because the Conservatives now seem more like a pale red Labour than what they do Conservatives, especially with the record amount of tax that we're all now facing, it seems.